So let's take a look at the tools in InDesign. I'm going to open this web 1920 by 1080 pixel document from the presets. Click and it will open up. Just a single click and it will open up. Okay, so this is my document. It has currently I'm going to have one page and we'll add on more pages when needed. So to explore, first tool is the selection tool. The shortcut is V or escape. Now, as per the name itself suggests, the name of the selection tool does the same as its name. But currently, we don't have anything on this word page to select. So first of all, I'm going to take a rectangle tool and create a rectangle like so. So now I'm going to use the selection tool, and then now you see that it works on selecting this object. As you can see, I have selected this object and the bounding box, blue bounding box has appeared around this object. And with the help of this selection tool, I can select object. Currently, I cannot click inside the object and select it. I have to go to the stroke because there is no fill for this object. Means there is no fill color. Let's just move it here. And you'll see that it has nothing inside. It has only the boundary. So from here, I can select the fill color. I just say random color here. And I'll just select and then choose the color and give OK. Now if I click on in the center, it will select the object. So I have the bounding box here, and when I go to the corner, I have these two options. One is this and one is this. So this will help me scaling up or down the object, and this will help me rotating the object. Click and drag. You will be able to rotate this object like so. Also, here I have one more option that is called click to edit corners. I'll just click here, and now it has changed to here like this view. I'll just click and drag and it will give me a cornered rectangle. So I move further, I'll give me more corners. Let's go back and click here. I'll just click outside and then we're back to this view. Okay, now we have one more drag. That is the anchor option. Drag into text to anchor object. Shift drag to make inline object. Alt drag to open dialog. So this is something called anchor. Now let's just say I have a text. Take a text type tool here and click and drag to make a box. Okay. Now I'm going to type any random text. I'll just select this and make it bigger. 24 point, maybe 36 point. Okay. So now I have this. Shift drag, alt drag to drag into text to anchor object. Like click and drag, and there it has created an anchor object. Now, if I move this text around, it will move with the text. Now this text has been anchored to this object. So in case I have something label here, I can anchor the text with the object or an image, and then these will move together like parent and child. Also, I can release this. Just click here. I have Alt, Hold, and Shift. I can move it within here. Just go OK. I'll just delete this and take another shape. Okay. Now, here one more thing we have here is when I go to here, shift drag to make an inline object. Now I'll hold shift and drag. I can move it in within this shape. I cannot see it because it's not big enough. So I have plus sign here. It means there is something inside here. So I'll just click and drag and make it bigger. And there I have my shape with inside the text. So I can move it like so. So you can use it these many ways for anchoring the object. Next I have is the direct selection tool. Now let's say I have a shape here, and within this I have ellipse tool. Let's just take an ellipse as well. So this is the direct selection tool. If I click here, it will give me this anchor points. Any object is made up of anchor points, and these particular shape has 4 anchor points. If I click here and click and drag, I can manipulate the shapes by clicking and dragging the anchor points with this tool. That is the direct selection tool. Okay, I can move it with selection tool. Direct selection tool helps me manipulate the shape with respect to anchor points. Also, if I select the anchor point and go to properties, I have few options here. Like I want to make this a smooth curve, then here are 4 points that is like this. It's gonna make a smooth curve. Here it is going back to the corner. It was like it was before. Select this and go to corner, and select this again. This, just choose this one here. So it will increase or decrease. You can make a manipulation like so here. So here we have option like symmetrical changes, like this one does not have a symmetry like this way or this way. It has to be even. Now it is even. Otherwise it was not even before. Now let's say this is uneven and I choose this. Here it will give me uneven shape, but when I choose this, it is going to even that out. Here click on this. It will make this handle independent. Before, these two handles were linked together. Let's just click on this, and these two are linked together. If I move the one anchor point, let's select this. One anchor point will move with the other anchor point. Now if I choose this, these two are now separate and independent. Select this, and okay. Let's zoom in a bit and let's take a better look here. Okay, I'm taking it out of my hand. Okay, now these two are now independent. They're not linked together anymore. So let's select them, make a curve. Now they are linked again. Now this allows to just make a curve without symmetry. This one will do symmetry. This will make independent points, and this will make a corner point. Also, I have a delete points option here. Let's just select this point and give delete point. It will just take out the half of the shape. Maybe I'll just try this on the circle as well. Just select this point, delete point, select, delete point. So I can use this tools for this function. I just give Control A and delete everything and wipe out the page. Next, I have the page tool. The shortcut for page tool is Shift P. If I click on here, I can use this tool to increase or decrease the size of the page. Also, I can change the orientation here, landscape or portrait. Now let's say I want a 10 pixel more here. I'll just give 1930 pixel and see the increase in the size. So that's what you can do with the share page tool. You can also have multiple, when I should have multiple pages right now. I'll just add more pages here. Add. Okay. Click here and drag. So that's the page tool here. Next, let's delete the extra pages here. Okay. Control 0 to fit to screen. We have the next is a gap tool. The shortcut is U. Now let's just go ahead and draw a few shapes in here. Maybe a rectangle and the polygon there. Alright, so gap tool. This is a gap tool, and here I have the gap here, which says how much gap here we have is 518 pixels. That's the gap we have. Also, I can increase and decrease the gap between the rectangle and the top corner of this page. And let's say if I want to check the gap between this here, it says 541 pixel, I can decrease or increase depending on what is my requirement. So that's the gap tool. I double click here, and change to see the gap between these two, increase or decrease like so. So I can make the adjustments with the gap tool depending on my layout. Alright, so that's your gap tool. Next we have is the content collector tool. The shortcut is B here. Now this acts like a library here, content collector tool. If I click on here, click here, and click here, it has collected these objects in this content collector. Now if I take a new page, I'll just move on to a new page. Now here I have content placer tool. Click on this and click. I can place it here, here, and here. So I placed all three objects using this content collector and content placer tool. And it's quick and easy. Content collector and content placer. Within there is already two more tools. Next we have the type tool. Let's just delete this, delete, and the type. Okay, the type tool, just one click and this will activate type tool. For this you need to make a box. Click and drag, and just let's say I want to make this half of the page as filled with text. I'll go ahead and go to type and fill with placeholder text. It does come up with some random dummy text. Here I can place it within the box like so. Here I have the option of let's just go to type tool. Yeah, here we have the option to increase or decrease the font. Here it is the spacing between two lines, and here we have the option to change the font to something else. Here is the weight, round, medium, round, light, and whatever the font has been provided with the weight. It has just regular for this one. Let's go and close this glyphs. Okay, so here we have all caps. Just click on this and it will give me all of them with capitals. This is superscript, and let's just say I'm having here a centimeter square. Let's just say centimeter square. I'll just select this too and give superscript, and there I have this as a centimeter square. Just go ahead and use type tool, go within here, and I'm gonna just delete this. Okay, next we have the make sure you have type tool on selected so that you see all these options. Otherwise, if you choose something else, the control panel will show something else. Make sure this tool and the control panel are linked between each other. So this control panel will show everything that is related to this tool. Next, so we have the underline tool. Everything will be underlined. Here I have small caps. That is going to change the capitals. That is not going to change the capitals, but it will change the letters, small letters, into a smaller capital letters. The size is small, but they are all capital now. The capital are already bigger and they are not changed at all. So next we have is subscript, and let's just have here as H2O, H2O. Okay, just select this too, and I'm going to click on this and it's going to give me an H2O properly. Let's go back here, and next we have is the strike through. It is going to just check it out like this. Next we have this matrix 0. This is our kerning. Let's say here I'll just increase the kerning here. It's going to increase the space here like so. I can go on increasing like this. When I need more space between two characters, I can go and select that character and I can give the kerning like so. So currently I don't need that, so I'll just keep it like as it is. Next we have is the lead tracking. I can increase the space between all the characters, not one particular one. This works on global. This is like a global setting. Every single character will be changing the spacing with this option. Next, we have the text height. If I increase this height, it will give me a heightened text, but that's not advisable because it will ruin the anatomy of the text. So I suggest not to use this option, but in case you want to increase the height of the text, this is the option. Also, we have the width as well. So we can also widen the text than it is actually there. I also suggest not to use this one as well, but in case you are creating some text, then you can use it. So this is the baseline shift. It will shift from the actual point. I'll just give 0 because I don't need that. So, and this is slanting. Is going to give me the italics of this text. I can give up the degree here and it will give me the inclination of the text. Let's just give 50 degree. Way too much. Okay, I'll just give 10 degrees. It's pretty okay. I'll just go to 0. Right, so here I can also give an outline to the text box. This works on the text box, and then giving the outline to the text box. Also, if I want to give a fill, I can go ahead and fill as well. This is the thickness of the stroke, and this is the style of the stroke. I can also change it to wavy or whatever the preset options that I have been given here. Alright, so that's the type tool and its properties. Next we have is the type on path tool. Type on path. First we need to have the path to have a type on path working there. So I'm just gonna use this pencil tool and click and drag and draw some curvy shape like so. And just gonna go back to here. Maybe I'll just give smooth here, and I'll just give a smooth shape like so. I will choose here the fill as none. Let's go here and give none here. None. Okay, so this is my path, and I'll go ahead and use type on path tool. You can use the shortcut Shift plus T. Now when I see the plus sign, I'll be able to type in here. I'll just go to type and place with fills placeholder text, and there I have my type on path working like so. This works on shapes as well. Let's just say I have a circle. Ellipse, take a circle. I'll give a none here as a fill. Now I'm going to use type on path. Click and type in some random text. I'm going to use the selection tool. Right. So this right here is the option. I can choose this to shift. Click and drag here. This is the start point and this is the end point. So make sure you have these two correctly placed, otherwise this can make a nuisance here. So I can move around the text by changing this, and this is the center point. I can place it within here, inside, click and drag and make it outside as well. Just click and drag and move it like so. Okay, that's your start point and end point. click and drag, and there you can make it this center. Click and drag, and like so you can make this. Okay, so that's your type on path tool. Next we have the line tool. I can just click and drag. If I hold shift, it is going to give me a straight line. Currently I have a white black stroke, so it is going to give me black stroke. If I choose the cyan color, then it'll change to cyan. Increase the stroke, I can change the stroke thickness from here, or I can use this option as well. I have the corner. Currently I don't need the corner here. So stroke, I can give a rounded stroke. Here it's going to give me a rounded stroke, and this one is extended stroke. By default is like this, and this is round and this is extended, right? So also I can change the style of stroke from here. Type is, we have fancy options, different kinds of here, all three. Wavy, I can give it starting point like this. There's a starting point, or the end point like this. So I can also go creative with the start point and end point of the stroke. I can also scale this up, the start point, or the end point. I can scale it up or down. Also I can switch, extend the arrow tip beyond the end of path, or extend the end tip. Here I have a gap color. I can also use this to give the gap color. I can also reduce opacity of this gap. So that's your line tool. Also, if I go here and hold shift, it is going to give me perfect 45-degree inclined line. Okay, so next, moving on, we have the pen tool. I'll take a new page for the pen tool. Just take a click here, Control 0, and here. Okay, so pen tool is used to create any shape that you want to create that is not within the basic shapes. You can create any shape with help of pen tool, but make sure you have a good practice of that first. So first things first, if you want to create a shape with pen tool that has no rounded corners, you can just click one single click, click, and click, and click. This way you can create a shape without any rounded corners. So you can just one single click, it will give you a shape without any corners. Now if you want something rounded, you have to click and drag for the corner. Now let's say I have a pen tool, click, and this is the straight line. Now here I'm going to take a rounded corner, so I'm going to click and drag. So there it created a rounded corner. And now if I want to create a straight corner, then I have to go back here and give click, and that will cut the corner. In case you don't, I'll just give undo, and if you don't cut the corner, it is going to give me a rounded here as well. Now if I go ahead and click and cut, it is going to give me a sharp corner like so. So click and drag in case you want a rounded one, and wherever this handle is going, it is going to give me the direction that way. I can hold Alt and change the direction to here, and it will go back to its source point. Let's just click and it will just go back to source point like so. So that's your pen tool. I have created 2 random shapes using this pen tool. And you can also go ahead and add anchor point after you have created shapes. This is the add anchor point tool. If you click here, there I have added a point. Also click and drag can also make this handle as well. So in case you want something like this, you have to click and don't release it here, and you can create something like this. So that is the add anchor point tool. Next we have delete anchor point tool. I can remove the axis anchor points that I just created. Next we have the convert direction point tool. Now let's say I want to, this is a curve here, I want to make it as this point, I want to make it a curve. So I can just click and drag and it will make a curve. Now if it is already a curve, I will just click here and it will make it a corner. Click and drag makes a curve, single click makes a corner. So that's the use of this convert direction point tool. Shortcut is Shift C. Pen tool is P. Add anchor point tool is plus. Delete anchor point tool is minus, and this is Shift C. Right. Next we have the pencil tool. Right. Double click on this. It'll give me this preferences pencil tool, and if you want to be precise with the pencil tool, you can give smoothness to down way here. But I prefer it using a smooth pencil tool, so I'll just prefer 100% smooth, and tolerance 2.5 pixels is fine for me. I'll just give new here. Okay, I'll just, now if I give a regular eye here, I'm gonna give this no fill here, no fill. Okay, this is a regular eye. If I go back here, choose the tolerance to 19 pixels. If I give eye now, I'll just choose the this to none. Slash is the shortcut for none. I'll just apply here in design. Alright, so that's way too smooth. That's your smooth pencil tool. So with this pencil tool, you can create some certain strokes and fun things like this freehand sketch here. This fidelity down to 0.5 pixels and just give a random A here. It gives a lot more detailed version here. So let's just say N D E S I G M. There's a lot more anchor points we have here, and it's just kind of rough if you look in closely. Here we see it's a lot more smoother. So let's just keep it 2 pixels, and let's see now in here. It doesn't give a proper N, but it works better this way. Maybe I'll just give a 2, maybe 4, and give an N here. Yeah, this works okay. So that's we can use smooth tool in case we don't get a smooth line here. Let's just click here, select this first, and then use a smooth tool, and you can later smoothen this out by clicking and dragging. Just overlap and draw the shape that you want the shape to be, like this, a curve, proper curve, and it'll just smoothen out the curve better. You can keep smoothing out until you have the desired results. And there you have your N. It's better to have this beforehand, so you then don't need to use the smooth tool. You can, in case you did something extra, you can use the eraser tool. Just click and drag, and that part will be erased. like this one. I'll get erased. You need to select this first. Anything you want to do, you need to have it selected before. So selection and removing this. Just overlap and click and draw. That will just remove this. So that's your pencil, smooth, and eraser tool all together. Just click Control A and delete. And yeah, next is the rectangle frame tool. The shortcut is F. Ellipse frame tool, polygon frame tool, they all are same, just the shapes are different. Just click and drag here. That's a rectangle ellipse frame. And here we have polygon frame tool. Okay. Let's just say I select this and so go to file menu and place and choose any random image. Let's just choose this one and give open. Okay. So it kind of placed within this frame. If you want, you can just click here and choose this first image to be smaller. Double click here and just take that image smaller. I'm just holding shift to make it proportional. I'm not losing the proportion here. Okay, now it kind of fits within the frame. Also, you want to increase or decrease the frame size, you can do that and as well. Same thing with this circle. We can go ahead and file, place, and let's just hit this one open. It came up quite big, so image is bigger than the circle. Anyway, it's not gonna fit, but you understand the concept. And in this case, it is going to come in this shape all as well. Remember, the shortcut you can use is Control D to place it here. It turned out to be fine here this way in this case. So you can use this as a placeholder. These frame tools are used as placeholders and like so. Also, you can use this as let's say this rectangle frame tool like so. Now go to content. We need to have some content here, so I'm gonna take a circle, save this to the content, just give me a content here. So this here, just select this to be on your content. Alright, now click on this. Use the content placer tool, click here and click here. Click. It's way too big to handle it, maybe. Let's drag in, go to the content here. Place it here. Okay, that worked. So you can place this shape in the frame as well. You can just go in double clicking there and just making the change within this shape as well also. It seems too complicated. You could rather just keep the shape directly rather than just keeping the frame. But that's one of the case with the frame as well. You can use it with objects and text as well. So I'm going to just go ahead and select and delete all these. Next we have rectangle tool. Now the shortcut for rectangle tool is M. We already explored the rectangle tool. You can click and drag and create rectangle. If you hold shift, it is going to give you a perfect square, length and width, height, same dimension. Now there's one more way to create rectangles. Double click and you can give the dimension by typing in like 500 pixel by 500 pixel and give OK, and it is going to come up with these 500 by 500 dimensions. Next is the ellipse tool. It is going to do the same. It's going to give me a perfect circle when I hold shift, and double clicking will also give me this width and height, and let's say 500 by 500 in this case as well. And that's my circle like right there. Now if I click here, I can change the color by going to this option, and let's say this one and give OK. Alright, so that's your shape. I can change the stroke, increase the point of the stroke, all that we have explored with the stroke and fill and opacity as well. Right, so next is the polygon tool. Here it's an interesting one. Just click and drag and it's give me a polygon. But can I change the number of sides it has? Yes, of course. I can double click here and it's going to ask me how many sides do I want. Let's say I want an octagon, so just give it 8 side here. And maybe just give here an 8-sided polygon, octagon I mean. Double click here. I can also give a star. Let's say 50% inset. And there I have a star. Maybe I don't like the star. Let's give me a 5-sided star. So click here, a 5-sided star. There we have a 5-sided star. So as simple as that. That's your basic shapes. Okay. Next we have the scissors tool. So I have a circle here. Just click here, 1 point here, 1 point here. And there the circle has been split in half. So this will work with all the shapes. And that's as simple as 1 click here, 1 click here, and it will split the shape in half. Works with every shape. Let's just try it here. Scissors tool, click here and click here, click here. Okay, cut in half. Alright, so as simple as that. Scissors tool is used to cut things in half, just like a scissor is used to cut stuff. We use the scissor to cut the shapes here. Though we have these tools, we need some objects for this. Let's just take a rectangle here. I'm just gonna take a fill, maybe cyan. Alright, so first things first, we have this free transform tool. Shortcut is E, but it works just like a selection tool. We can increase and decrease the shape, size, or rotate it. That's about it. That's what we can do. We can squeeze or stretch the shape, the height, rotation, and that's it. That's what we can do with the free transform tool. When it comes to the rotate tool just gives me a rotation option here, but I have an option here to choose the center point. Let's say I want center point from here. It is going to rotate with this as center point. Now let's just choose this as center point, and now if I rotate it, it is going to move around that point. If I choose this, then this point as well. If I click outside, it is going to work with that as well. Okay, so that's the freedom that I have with the rotate tool. And if I double click here, hold Alt and double click here, it's going to give me an option here. Just preview on, and I'm going to give a copy here. It's going to give me another 15-degree shape copy, right, like so. Rotate, give me this thing, copy again, and it's going to repeat these steps anyway. So that's your rotate tool. Next we have the scale tool. Scale is just going to increase or decrease the size, and that's about it. Also, it has center point as well. I can change the center point here, and it will change with this as the center point. If I click here, and it changes the shape with this as the center point. Next we have the shear tool. We can click and drag here and change this, stretch this out like so. Go ahead and give delete. Next we have the gradient swatch tool. Let's just have a shape here real quick. Gradient swatch tool, shortcut is G. Just one click and you have the gradient here. You can also change the gradient direction from top to bottom or bottom to top. You can just click and drag and have the gradient like so. Now if you want to change the color of the gradient, I'll just go ahead and just remove the stroke for first and go to Windows menu. Here we have a color option. Here I have a gradient. Click here and there I have my gradient style open. Type I can choose a linear or radial. I can have this First of all, select the object, maybe linear, increase or decrease this. I'm having a stroke here. I just don't want to happen this on stroke. This is selected. Now this will work. Radial and linear. Okay. Also, I want to change the color here. Now, I need to open the swatches for that. Go to Windows, Color, Swatches. You can use shortcut F5 to open up swatches. Now, let's say I want this RGB red here, so I can have red placed here. I can remove this. I can keep this as well. Click here, RGB red. Replace this. It's red. I can choose as many colors as I want. That's the power gradient. Let's say this blue. I want a blue one as well. Let's just click and drag and place it right like so. Let's remove this red here. Take a red. Give undo. I want the blue one. Yeah, I can also change the location. I can select here. It's 3%. Let's just give 1.5%. There, you see the movement there. Also, I can give it this 45-degree rotation. So there, I have this gradient. Also, I can add this new gradient swatch. This is my new gradient. I can double click on this and give this a red-blue gradient name. Red-blue gradient. Now if I have another shape here, let's just say ellipse, just click here and you have your color just in one click. You can save your gradients as well with the swatches. This comes up with the stroke as well. So just remove the stroke. Use the shortcut / to remove the stroke. Next we have the gradient feather tool. Shift G is the shortcut to have that. I can just click here and it's gonna give me a feather here. It's gonna bring down the opacity level right like so. You can go to effects as well, gradient feather, and access the gradient feather from here as well. You can choose how much you want, or you can increase or decrease the size of the gradient. Also you can choose linear or radial here. In case you don't want it, just give a off here and cancel that. Node tool. Next we have the node tool. Node tool works with the text particularly. So I'll just go back to new page. I'll give a text type tool. Okay, I'm going to give a note. Select A, Control A, and increase the size of the text. Alright, so I have node tool here. Click here. I can give the comment for this text. And that's about it. I can just close this. And you can see that there is a note by just click icon here. You can go to note here, click on this, and there comment for this text. Anything you want to leave a note for another designer if this is going in the workflow, then you can use this tool and give it a slight note for the designer to have a heads up of what's going on, what to do with the design, and any other instruction as well. Next we have the color theme tool. Let's say I'm gonna make a color theme out of this. Maybe colorful. You can choose this. I'll just remove this. I'll just use this one for a while now. Okay, click on this. Let's just say I want this shade copied here. I have a circle here. It is going to come out right like that. Before that, I just use eyedropper tool here. Now I can click here and it's going to click and drag stroke and click here just use the other shapes as well. Click, and it is going to come up with the gradients. So click and sample the color, and then click to copy the color as well. Let's just say I want this one, so I'll just go use the eyedropper tool. Click, eyedropper, click, and did not sample right. Okay, eyedropper tool, click, sampling the same color as well. RGB cyan, maybe I'll just change this to RGB cyan. I can change this like that as well. Next we have the measure tool. Now let's say I want to measure this circle. Just click and drag, and you can measure the width of the circle. That is 334 pixels. Also, I can choose the direction as well. Like I want to measure the angle of this line. Click and drag, and you can measure that it is 45-degree line, and it is width and height is 348.707 pixels. Also, the coordinates with respect to X and Y are given in the info box as well. So you can use this measure tool, pretty cool, in case you want to go with in detail with respect to the dimensions and all that, and the angles as well. So you can use this tool as well. Next we have the hand tool. Hand tool is pretty much the space bar that we use to pan this around. Next we have is the zoom tool. You can click and it will zoom. If I hold Alt, it will ask me to zoom out. And we also have other options to zoom in and zoom out, that is Alt scroll and Control plus, Control minus. That's about it. These are the basic tools in InDesign.